Here's 5 talking points from Manchester United's 0-0 draw with Liverpool at Anfield yesterday. Number 1, good point, bad performance. Look, great to get a point at Anfield. Always great to get a point. And, you know, a lot of I suppose, disrespect nearly been thrown at Manchester United in the past, 12 hours. It was since whenever the game ended. Obviously Van Dijk had his interview and there was only one team trying to win it. Keane had a nibble back at him, and rightly so. Getting a point at Anfield is never a bad thing. It really isn't. Now, let's not get too carried away here. It's a good point for Manchester United, but it wasn't a great performance at all. Liverpool dominated, and I think any other team with a bit of fighting him and a bit of end product would have finished Manchester United a lot sooner yesterday. But Liverpool were the kind of team yesterday that could have been there till Christmas and wouldn't have scored. But I think it was a good defensive performance. We were solid, we were rigid, we kept our shape really well. But overall, the performance wasn't good. You expect more. We ended up with probably the better of the chances. But I think going forward, we were really, really poor. We really were. We gave the ball away an awful lot. We were sloppy in possession. We handed the ball back to Liverpool an awful lot. So, look, while the point is good, you would take a point at Anfield any day of the week, the performances do have to improve. And look, it is understandable. We're missing an awful lot of key players, Martinez, Casemiro, Eriksen, the list goes on. Rashford was missing pretty much yesterday, came on at the end. Bruno was missing as well. So these are all key players for Manchester United that do have to return. So I think given the circumstances, it is a great point, but the performances do need to improve. Number 2, Ten Hag adapts. And we've been saying this an awful lot. Since Ten Hag has taken the job at Manchester United, that he tends not to change his game plan, regardless of the opposition and regardless of injuries and so on and so forth. But we seen a change yesterday. He played 2 holding midfielders with Kobe Mainoo and Amrabat. We'll talk about them in a moment as well. But Ten Hag adapted, and it's good to see. You cannot go out in the Premier League week in, week out with the same game plan and different opposition. You might have a certain amount of injuries one week compared to the next. You have to adapt, to the surroundings that you're in. And Ten Hag did it quite well yesterday. He set us up in a way, again, like we said, was quite rigid, was quite compact. Let's not get away from the fact that we did want to play on the break yesterday. We were never going to dominate possession and be the dominating team. We were always going to be working off of moments and maybe set pieces. And I think he set us up really, really well. Defensively we were sound. Never looked like really being broken down. If it was for slightly better finishing out of Rasmus Højlund and Garnacho, who had the 2 main chances, we could have snatched it and come away with all 3 points. So it's good to see Ten Hag is adapting, because we are going to have to do that an awful lot more throughout the season, especially when you come into the big games. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why we've seen this record of Manchester United not beating any of the top teams in the last 18 months. And I think Ten Hag does need to start learning quickly that you do need to adapt when you are playing against the bigger teams compared to, no disrespect, some of the lesser teams in the league. So it's good to see, and long may it continue. Number 3, Varane masterclass. And look, we know Varane has had a tough time this season. Ten Hag doesn't seem to favour him, and a number of different reasons. I think the main one is probably the fact that he has struggled to stay fit throughout his time at Manchester United, and especially since Ten Hag has come in. We seen last season him and Martinez striking up a great partnership together. Obviously, they haven't played with each other this season due to the fact that both of them are injured. And I think another main reason why he hasn't been in the squad is that Harry Maguire has kept him out. He went through a phase of maybe 7 or 8 games there where he was playing really, really well. I think probably the main reason why we're seeing Varane not getting as much game time is I think Ten Hag is probably going, I have to move on. I cannot keep relying on you being injured. When you're getting these injuries, players are coming in, they're taking their chance. But if that's the logic you're going to, stand by, then Varane has to stay in the team, because it was an absolute masterclass from him yesterday. He was solid from minute 1. He was our go-to man defending set pieces. He got his head on nearly every corner that came in. He was brilliant. He organised the defence really well. His positioning was good, cutting out crosses, being the first man. I was really impressed. And given the fact that it was his first time ever playing with Johnny Evans, I think they struck up a really good partnership. You could see the you could see the intelligence was there. And, while there is a lot of minutes and a lot of, maybe miles in the legs of Johnny Evans and Varane over the years, they've also got a hell of a lot of experience, and they showed that yesterday. You could see at times when even United would clear their lines, maybe 10 or 15 yards up the field, automatically we were going right edge of the box. We were getting out quickly. You could see Evans and Varane at different stages throughout the games, speaking to fullback, speaking to Kobe Mainoo and Amrabat in front and keeping it all organised. So it was really good to see. But Varane will probably stay in the team now, given the fact that we have got injuries. Lindelof is injured, Maguire is injured, we know Martinez is injured as well. But I think even if we didn't, on the basis of yesterday's performance, he should be staying in the team regardless. Will he go in January? I would like to see him stay till the end of the season. I do think it's time we probably cash in on him and, maybe get a younger upgrade. But there's no doubt in his ability and his quality. I would like to see him stay to the end of the season, and I would like to see him stay in the team. Number 3, midfield pairing. Now, this is in relation to Mainoo and Amrabat, and I thought they struck up a really good partnership yesterday. It was something that we've been, as fans, looking to see, and I do want to see a lot more of it. I like the control that we had in midfield at times. Now, look, you still are playing against a superior Liverpool team, but I think, when we did get on the ball, I think that centre midfield, especially Kobe Mainoo on the ball, he's the one that creates and, takes the ball off the back four and carries it forward and, and looks to bring it into the second and final third. So I was really happy with that. I think defensively is where I was most impressive with them. They screened the back four really, really well. A lot of people frustrated in the chat yesterday with Amrabat giving the ball away a number of times. I'm okay with Amrabat giving the ball away a few times throughout the game if his defensive displays continue, to have the impact that they're having, because I think defensively he scans really well. He's always in the right area. He gets his foot in with tackles. I think he is a really good defensive midfielder. I think the issue is obviously then when we're trying to play out from the back, he does get on the ball. And in fairness to him, he does look for the ball. He's not like a Scott McTominay where he'll hide behind, he'll hide in between channels. He actually gets into the channels and looks to get on the ball. His quality on it is not, that great. But I think if you can play a Kobe Mainoo beside him, that will constantly be looking to get on the ball and rarely gives it away. And I think it's a really good partnership. Defensively, I thought they were good, and I'd like to see a lot more of them throughout the rest of the season. Now, number 5, lack of goals. And look, I don't like to finish on a negative, and I usually don't, but it is a concern. We're really, 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 really not scoring goals this season. 2 big opportunities yesterday. And look, I do understand, 2 of our 3 forwards yesterday are under the age of, are 20 or younger, and, there is a bit of inexperience there. We know Anthony's end product is not good enough going forward. His work rate defensively is really good, and something that I'm really happy with. And he does, I think he does take a lot of pressure off of our defence at times, because he runs at the fullback all of the time, tries to get the team up the field. End product, not good enough. Rasmus Højlund had a great chance to score, and so did Garnacho. Look, now I'm under no illusions that these are going to be, good players for Manchester United in the future, but it just goes to show the lack of investment in key areas. I do know obviously Rasmus Højlund costs an awful lot of money. He shouldn't have, but it's concerning. It really is. And last season, we've said this a number of times, that we obviously relied on Marcus Rashford's goals last season, and I suppose second to that was our defensive displays. And, obviously with Varane and Martinez and Shaw and Wan-Bissaka as a, stern back four, we conceded, very little last season. This season, we've conceded obviously more. We're starting to see some better defensive displays, but in patches. But we're just not scoring enough goals. We really aren't. I don't know where they're going to come from. Are we going to have to go into the transfer market in January? It looks like it. United have been linked with Guirassy. We cannot rely on Anthony Martial. He's just, either one, he can't stay fit, or 2, he's just useless. So I think Rasmus Højlund does need a hand. And I think we are going to have to go into the transfer window in January, because goals are what win you games. And as Michael Owen said, if you generally the team that scores the most goals wins. So we're going to have to start scoring more goals. And if that means bringing in someone else in January, then so be it. It has to be done. But let me know your thoughts, guys, the morning after, the night before. Let me know your thoughts on the games and all the points we talk about. Please do smash a like on the video. Hit subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you on the next one.